Every time you smile, it's something new, like the world shifts to a brighter you. Every time, sometimes it's soft, almost shy, other times it's bold, reaching the sky. A story told without a word, in your laugh, every emotion is heard. A glimpse of joy, a trace of pain, yet always your smile remains the same. Through the highs and through the lows, your smile is constant, that shows. Thank you.
But I want to start my talk today by asking you a question. You don't have to answer it out loud, you could just think about it. I'm not trying to be snide or sarcastic, but the question is, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? What's the first thing that pops into your head? And be honest with yourself. There's no right or wrong answer yet. If you asked me, and I didn't already know where this is going, I would probably say I'm a wife, a mother, a medium, a minister, a Reiki master teacher, a hypno counselor, an artist, a dog lover, and I would describe myself in that manner. Notice I didn't say tech specialist, because that's kind of a job, right? And of course, if I were interviewing you for a job, I would ask you to specifically tell me about your work history and your skills. What have you accomplished and what do you bring to my company? But what I'm asking you is, as a soul in a physical body that's part of a great big world of ours, who are you? Who are you at your very core, and what do you offer to our coexistence? We all ask the question at one point or another, why am I here? What's my purpose? What's the bigger picture? But how many of us really seek to know the answer? We all have value, we all have worth, we all have purpose here. Of course, we're meant to learn things and to interact with others, to evolve, and to one day go home, hopefully a little wiser. I don't think we even realize the impact we have on the many lives that we touch, or the rippling effect our actions have by simply being kind to someone who then shows kindness to someone else is the rippling effect. You'll probably never know how far those ripples will go or how life-changing they can be, but you have the power to create them. We all have something to learn, and we all have something to offer. Life is so much more than working 9 to 5, buying bigger houses or more expensive toys. We already know that things don't necessarily equate to joy. I came from poor and learned to be quite grateful for enough. Enough food on the table, a roof over my head, ability to pay my bills and help others when I can. There are so many that don't even have that security. Honestly, being poor was some of the happiest times of my life, although I do acknowledge there's no shame in being wealthy either. I think many of us are trying to figure out the bigger picture, but I believe at our core, we have a sense of who we are if we just allow ourselves the time to work it out and to be our true, authentic selves. The obvious answer to the question is that we're all love. We're all a part of the great divinity that makes up our entire universe, each a particle or a part of the whole, more connected than we even realize. But we don't all necessarily offer the exact same thing. Someone may have a friend that always makes them laugh, so the first thing they say is, oh, that's so-and-so, and they're so funny. Or that's my girlfriend, and she's generous. And how lucky to be thought of in that way. Often we define ourselves by what we do, rather than who we are. If someone says, tell me a little bit about yourself, usually the first thing we say is what we do for a living. So if I were a teacher, for instance, then I would say I'm a teacher. But if I lost my job and was, for whatever reason, unable to teach, then who am I? My identity is lost. And even though it wasn't my fault, I would still feel a little less than. Perhaps even embarrassed that I was no longer a teacher and that now I'm nobody. This is why we need to know who we are at our core, so that no one ever feels like they're a nobody. just because of their circumstances. We look to label to identify ourselves and others, but the problem with labels is that we rely on them to give us a sense of purpose and to distinguish us from another. It separates me from you. And we live in a world where there's already so much division, so much anger, so much hate. Of course, there's also a lot of beauty, but it's sometimes harder to find these days. Right now, politics is a great example of that. It's also overwhelming, and everyone is so opinionated and so adamant that they're right. But what if we're wrong? Would your ego prevent you from changing your views and beliefs? What if we're just kind to each other as it all sorts itself out? Some people even enjoy trolling pages on the internet and riling things up because really it's a bully's playground. And bullies come in all shapes and sizes and ages. In fact, adult bullies are probably some of the worst in the world. It amazes me how badly people can behave. We become so detached that we feel we have a right to say unkind things, to just blurt out and even attack people we don't even know. We've lost our manners. When I was growing up, I was taught that it was impolite to discuss things like religion, politics, and sex. Those topics were considered very personal and taboo to discuss. The same way we would never ask a woman her age or her weight. I'm not telling. However we come to our beliefs is based on our own life experiences and values and is personal to each of us. It was okay that everyone had their own opinions, but would almost always result in heated debates if someone else's opinion was different than your own. And you may have experienced that at family gatherings where everyone has a different opinions and all of a sudden siblings are fighting and it just gets out of control and out of hand. But hopefully they still love each other. Even amongst my friends on Facebook, debates are so heated that friendships are lost by a mere click of the unfriend button. People who once cared about each other are now enemies. But sometimes conflict is our greatest teacher in discovering not only who someone else is, but who we are. How we behave, how we react, and how we interact says a lot about us. Sadly, I think we forgot that we all want the same thing, whatever the best is for our country as a whole. You'd think that common goal would encourage us to work together, to somehow find a way to peacefully coexist so that everyone felt valued. Everyone. We're not just part of the universe, we are the whole of it. Each of us together, whether in human form or spirit, is part of the energy that sustains it. We need each other. But this isn't about politics. Honestly, I don't even want to know what your politics are or what you believe in because it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't change how I feel about you, the real you, the essence of you. I can forgive a difference of opinion. And even though I know I'm right, it's okay that you believe in what you believe, and maybe one day we'll have the same beliefs. I once had a conversation with an old friend of mine from high school who has very strong religious convictions, so much so that at one point he condemned his own brother for being gay. Just before his brother died of AIDS, he forgave him for being gay, as if his brother needed forgiveness. We talked about that and our very different religious views, and I posed a question to him. I asked him if even though he believed that I too would be condemned for my religious beliefs, could he still love me? And he really had to think about it for a minute. So I immediately told him that I would love him regardless. Regardless of his answer, I could still love him. I still saw the good that was in him, and I hoped he'd find it in himself one day too. I was raised with an open mind and an open heart, and it doesn't matter to me what your politics are, what your religious beliefs are, or what your sexual orientation is. Those are up to you, and they're not for me to judge. I can see you even when you don't see yourself, and I see the beauty in you. I think we all need to step back from time to time and ask ourselves who we are. And do we like that person? Are we thinking, growing, expanding, or are we just existing? Are we taking full advantage of the gift this human life experience has to offer? And do we even recognize it as a gift? No doubt many who are struggling don't see it as such. No matter your experience, it doesn't matter because we all end up in the same place at some point. Perhaps even more reason to embrace it now and make the most of it while we can. So who are you, really? Although I'm sure there is darkness in me at times, I am also light. Of course, some days are better than others. To me, it's more important that you know I'm not my job title, but I am love, kindness, and compassion, and at least that's how I hope to be seen. That's how I feel when I sit in meditation and connect to my soul. It's not ego, it's just me honoring the divinity within and doing my part. God knows I'm far from perfect. I have to emphasize that. I'll say it again. Far from perfect. I have my many flaws and even my dark side, and it can be a very dark side at times. But the light is what I choose to nurture. Before I ask you this question again, if you will, just for a moment, put your right hand over your heart, followed by your left hand, and take a deep breath and let it out. Focus on your heart beating in your chest and offer gratitude for the gift of life it gives you. Again, take a deep breath in, hold it, let it out slowly and completely. And do this one more time and feel your body soften and the divinity within you calling to you. At this time, I would invite Spirit, your guides, and anyone that's part of your support team to help you to see who you truly are. So I ask you again, what is the most important thing you want people to know about who you are? Perhaps the answer has changed from the first time I asked. At least I hope. Remember what you do, your job, is how you support yourself and provide for your family. But who you are, your essence, is how you support humanity. If you're still not sure, then just think about who you want to be and focus on that. Put aside your self-doubt and criticism and just shine, because our world needs your light even more now than ever. And if you're ever in doubt, know that you could always take a few breaths, connect to your center, and feel the essence of the divinity within you. Know that you have purpose. I see you, and I'm honored to be sharing this existence we call life with you. Thank you.